the topic of the Jumu'ah, and alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us chance and another time so we can witness Jumu'ah, alhamdulillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the blessings of Jumu'ah. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. And we were talking about mainly the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, especially because we started already the month of Rabi'in al-Awwal, and that is the month that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was born in it. And also we talked about the longing for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that our hearts are yearning to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are yearning to him, and we are longing for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And not only this, to know him and to get the blessings of making salah wa salam for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the main idea for these types of lectures, especially Jumu'ah night, that if somebody had an answer, had a question about the topic, if he wanted to know more about this, if he had something even is not related to the topic of the Jumu'ah, so we can benefit all of us from his question, inshallah. So that is my call to each and everyone. Just if you have a question, please share it with me. And inshallah, we will try our best by the guidance and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so we can give the answer, inshallah. We talked about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And you know, the month of Rabi', you know the word Rabi' in the Arabic language, what does it mean? Spring, yes. So this is the month of spring in the Islamic calendar. So the word Rabi', we have Rabi' Awwal, Rabi' Thani. We have the Rabi' the first and Rabi' the second, means the first spring and the second spring. That's the meaning of Rabi'. And Rabi', in the month of Rabi', when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born in Rabi', and he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as you know, and we are going, inshallah, during the entire month, we are going to talk about the Miladu Rasulullah, the birth of Rasulullah, what was before and what was after, how his father had married his mother, and what happened, what are the miracles and the signs happened during the time of the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we also will talk about Halima, the one who used to nurse feed the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we are going to talk about the circumstances related to his birth, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as a matter of fact, we need to know more about Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the issue that we discussed, that most of people are talking about, how much do you need to love Rasulullah? But very rare of people had talked with you, how much does he love you? So that was the main point. The main point that we need to know, how much does the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam love us? That's the case. He loved us to the point that he mentioned us when he said, I have missed and I'm looking to meet my brothers. They said, Ya Rasulullah, isn't we like your brothers? He said, you are my companions, but my brothers, who are the brothers of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Those who will come after him and they will believe in him without seeing him. So if you believe in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so we can call you are the brother of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And inshallah, as we got the hadith of the man, I didn't mention this hadith in the khutbah of Jumu'ah, and the man who came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was always asking about, Ya Rasulullah, mata as-sa'a? Mata as-sa'a? You know, sometimes you have people, they ask you about some questions which does not have an answer. And even if you will give them the answer, that will not make any difference. You remember the one who came to Imam Imam al-Sha'bani, Imam al-Sha'bi, the one who came to Imam al-Sha'bi, and he asked him, do you know the name of the wife of Shaitan? Okay, he told him, what's the name of the wife of Iblis? So he said, I wasn't invited for the wedding, you know? I wasn't there to tell you the name. He could tell him, I don't know. But he replied just that response, because sometimes you have questions, it has a certain chapter in the Islamic knowledge. It is called علم لا ينفع وجهل لا يضر. علم لا ينفع. And knowledge wouldn't benefit you. وجهل, and ignorance will not harm you. You know? So what's the difference? So the man came to Rasulullah and he said, Ya Rasulullah, متى الساعة? When the day of judgment will take place? When the day of judgment will happen? When the day of hour will happen? Every time, whenever he meets Rasulullah could give him the answer. So what's the answer if someone told you, Hajj Wajdi, when the day of judgment will happen? So what's the proper answer? Yes, so the proper answer is to say, I don't know. It's unseen. Nobody knows when the day of judgment will happen. But Rasulullah responded with a question to his answer, to the answer. So he was, instead of answering, he asked him a question. He said, وَمَاذَا أَعْدَدْتَ لَهَا? What did you prepare for the day of judgment? You know, always asking about the day of judgment. So let's talk. What did you prepare? He said, Ya Rasulullah, I didn't prepare too much. I didn't pray too much. I didn't fast too much. I didn't pay zakat too much. But I have something. It could be unique. It could be special. I love Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Anta ma'a man ahbabta. You will be with the one that you loved. Means you will be with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there is something. Imagine we are talking about one of the companions. When we talk about he didn't pray, that does not mean he missed the fard. No, he didn't pray means he didn't pray extra like nawafil. He didn't fast. That does not mean that he didn't fast Ramadan. So don't take it as an excuse to say, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. I wouldn't pray, I wouldn't fast, then I would be with the Prophet Muhammad. If that is easy peasy, you know, that anyone can do it. But that's not the case. That's not the case. You know, let me ask you just a figurative question. If you don't have questions, let me ask you the questions. Do you think Jannah is expensive or cheap? Huh? Do you need to pay for Jannah? When do you come to the masjid, do you pay something? Alhamdulillah, we didn't take anything from you. Alhamdulillah. Huh? If you wanted to disobey Allah, you need to pay. Imagine if someone wanted to go to a bar or something, to a casino to drink something, you know, he had to pay. If someone wanted to gamble, so he wanted to play cards, he has to play. So he pays and he disobeys Allah. But when you pray, that does not cost you anything. When you fast, when you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your tongue, when you are in a constant state of worshiping Allah, when you are contemplating in your salah, that is free. So could we say Jannah cheap or expensive? Another time. Try another time. So Jannah cheap or expensive?
Expensive.
Because he knows the evidence. He's so smart. Even if I tried, you know, to play around, but he knows he has the evidence because he knows the hadith of Rasulullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ala inna sil'ata Allahi ghaliyah." Surely, the product of Allah is so expensive. Means what? Jannah. Ala inna sil'ata Allahi al-Jannah. Surely it is made by Allah. It has to be the most expensive thing. And you know what? So what do we need to pay? What do we need to pay to get Jannah? You know what? Our souls, which is the most precious thing that we have. Yes, we pay the struggle. We pay the sacrifice. We pay our patience. We pay. Sometimes don't take rest at your sleep when you wake up for Fajr. Sometimes when you pay from your money to give to the poor and needy. So yes, we pay, but we don't pay money. We pay other things, which is so precious in the sight of Allah. That's why if someone got hit with a calamity, Allah tested him that he loses his son, he loses his wife, his parents, or something. So what's the reaction for the believers? To have patience, to have sabr. Anyone else does not have deen or is not controlled by religion. He could curse, he could yell, he could, say bad words. Why did you die for me? Why you choose us? Why did you die for my wife? Some people are talking like this with Allah. But for you as a Muslim, when you are patient, Allah said, إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّ الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Those who are patient, Allah is going to reward them Jannah without reckoning, without being questioned on the day of judgment. So they will come out from their graves on the day of resurrection directly to Jannah. Khalas. He already did his part. In the other hadith, the Prophet Mohamed ﷺ, and it is hadith Qudusi, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing somebody by losing his son, by losing a child, his own child, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, Ya malaikati, O my angels, aqabattum ruha abdi fulan? Did you took the soul of my servant so and so, the little child? They said yes. O my angels, aqabattum thamarata fu'ade? Did you get and took the soul of the apple of his eye, of the eyes of his father? Did you take like the soul of his heart, means part of him, his own child? And they will say to Allah, will say, وَمَاذَا قَالَ عَبْدِي? Then what was the response of my servant? Then they will say, Ya Allah, حَمِدَكَ وَاسْتَرْجَعَ. He said, Alhamdulillah, and he said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. So Allah will say, Ibnu li'abdi baytan fil jannah وَسَمُّوهُ بَيْتُ الْحَمْدِ. So build a house for my servant in Al-Jannah and name it as the house of praising Allah. That's the case. So we pay. When you go somewhere and you have all types of foods, MashaAllah, you have burgers, you have roasted meat, you have chicken, you have filet, do we have someone here is hungry? Are you hungry? Thinking about food? Okay. Maybe your father is hungry. So when you go to a buffet, but you remember that that's not halal, that's not slaughtered on the name of Allah. So I will not eat that. And that is my sacrifice. So Allah knows that you sacrifice. That's why Allah will give you Jannah. When you see everyone is going to take, loans and interest and riba, usury, but you say, you know what? No, I'm going to live very short life. I will not take it because I don't want to deal in haram. Allah knows your sacrifice. Allah knows that. That's why Allah will gift you Jannah. When you see everyone is looking at, some people or some women half naked and they walk and talk and play, dance. But you as a Muslim, you lower your gaze. When you lower your gaze and you try to control your temptations, your desires, your whims. You have lusters by the nature as a human being, but you are struggling. You are sacrificing. When you do that, you pay. Allah knows that you are paying. And that's why Allah will reward you Jannah. That's why Jannah is not cheap. Jannah is so expensive. So not everyone can pay for Jannah. And even Jannah cannot be bought. Jannah cannot be bought. We pay as we show our commitment to Allah. We show Allah that we have good intention, but to pay the full price for Jannah, that's impossible. Like, let me tell you. So imagine if you like Lamborghini, for example. How many cars of Lamborghini you can buy? How many? Brother Hamza, how many? None? You can get the tires. Not even the tires. Okay. Dr. Yusuf, how many Lamborghini you can buy? Lamborghini. How many cars you can buy? Zero. MashaAllah. We have very rich people in the masjid. MashaAllah. Allahu Akbar. You see, Dr. Siddiqui, this is your friend. He said zero. One. Just one. Alhamdulillah. So what about if somebody wanted to buy the factory of Lamborghini? You will think that maybe Bill Gates, maybe someone is so rich. If someone told you that I will buy the product of Allah, how much does it worth? How much does it worth? If you wanted to say, I wanted to buy the product made by Allah, who can pay for that? Who has the price for that? That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the hadith, لَنْ يَدْخُلَ أَحَدُكُمُ الْجَنَّةَ بِعَمَلِهِ. None of you can enter Jannah because of his deeds. They said, even you, Ya Rasulullah? He said, even me, unless Allah showers me with his mercy. So we do we show our pledge, we show our pledge, just pledge. All what we are doing, that's showing your good intention, your good desire, that you love Allah and his messenger. But don't think by praying, Salat al-Maghrib behind the very poor Imam, your Imam, that you prayed in 3-4 minutes, that what, I made it to Jannah. No, wait. Wallahi, none of us can make it to Jannah except by the mercy of Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. Unless Allah showers us with his mercy. So, and you know what? One of the things that we are going to talk about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is something that we call it the intercession on the day of judgment. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going to intercede on behalf of all of us before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he will say to Allah, oh Allah, those are my ummah. How come that my ummah will be in the hellfire? He wouldn't believe, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that some of his ummah, after what he did for the ummah, still he has some of his ummah in the hellfire. That will shock the Prophet Mohamed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he will come to Allah and listen to this, and he will prostrate in front of the throne of Allah, and he will praise Allah in such amazing way that no prophet or a messenger had praised Allah like Rasulullah before. No one had praised Allah in such a beautiful way like that day when Rasulullah will praise Allah and will prostrate in front of his throne. Allah will respond to him, O Muhammad, irfa' ra'sak, means raise up, raise your hand, raise your head. Don't prostrate now, raise your head. Wasal tu'ta, and ask me, I will give you. وَاشْفَعْ تُشَفَّعْ, and intercede, and I will give you the intercession. Then he will say, oh Allah, ummati, ummati, my ummah. I wanted my ummah to be saved from the hellfire. So Allah will allow Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to intercede and to save lots of people from the hellfire. That's Rasulullah sallallahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. Allahumma ameen ya Rabb al-alameen.
When can I ask the question?
Yes, I'm ready. Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
We talk about the four madhahibs.
Yes.
I want to know what is Salafism and Sufism. You know, is it a madhab too, or?
No. When we talk about the fiqhi madhab, okay, so the question for the people who are following, we talked about the four madhab, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal. So he's asking about, so what is Salafis and Sufis? Are they madhab? Okay. Just one point that you missed, and it will tell you the difference. When we talk about the four madhahib, those are the madhahib of fiqh. And the Salafis and Sufis are madhahib in aqidah, in doctrine, in our creed. So completely different field of knowledge. Those are not madhahib, the Salafis or Sufis. We can consider that that's a way of believing in Allah, like having certain types of aqidah. They have differences in the aqidah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like some people think that yes, we can make dua to Allah using like mediator, like someone in the grave, someone was righteous, so we can make him as a mediator between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the Sufis. And the Salafis says, no, do not make that mediator between you and Allah, go directly to Allah. So that's not related to fiqh. Yes, that's not related even to fiqh, to the rules of the Sharia. That is related to the aqidah, which is different story at all. Okay, hope that answered your question. Okay, brother.
There are some people, they call themselves that they are La Mazhab.
The what?
La Mazhab, that means they don't believe in any mazhab.
La madhab.
La Mazhab.
Okay.
They have in our country, they have a separate mosque, and particularly, and they also don't believe in Sunnah and others. They tell that we directly pray to Allah and all.
Yes.
Quran we believe only in this.
Exactly. And those people, another name for them is Al-Quraniyun. Those who believe only in the Quran and they do not recognize the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Of course, those are far away from the madhahib, far away from the right direction, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I have left for you two sources. If you have deserted, if you have abandoned, you will not be like one of my ummah. You will not be a followers of my ummah or followers of me. You will go astray. He said, the book of Allah and my sunnah. So if someone said, you know what, it is enough for me to follow the Quran and I will not look at the sunnah, so he messed the way and he went astray. And the word of no madhab, I am not following a madhab. When we finish the madhahib, you will get to know the funny thing or the thing which is, makes you laugh. That anyone, even if he didn't study the madhahib, if he like raised his hands while he's saying Allahu Akbar, that should match one of the madhahib. So whatever, even if they said no madhab, when you follow their practice of religion, for sure, 100%, that has to match with one of the madhahib, even if they don't know or they claim that they do not follow madhab. But you know what? The valid point here, what I see, it's so interesting, and almost that captures my attention when we talk about with people about to be so extreme in applying the madhab, and to think that your madhab is the only thing in that religion, and to have fight with other madhahib just because they differed than you. This is the thing that we don't like. That is which is against Islam. Like someone says, you know what, I am Hanafi. Okay, and those people are Maliki, so they are not welcome in our masjid. That's insane. You know, that's insane. Someone said, I am Shafi'i. And like, for example, in my study in Al-Azhar, I studied the Shafi'i madhab. Then I studied the comparative study of the whole madhab, even beyond the 4 madhab, more than 4. So I cannot imitate one madhab and force it in my salah to the entire community, even if that will lead to conflict or contradiction, for example. I cannot do this because we have something even more important than this, to keep our community united and not to rise disagreements and conflicts in the masjid. And this is the wisdom in conveying the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, you have every right to follow a certain madhab, yes, but don't be so extreme in the madhab. Understand the tolerance and be flexible. Be flexible. Otherwise, we can have shirk. If we went so extreme and we started to fight each other and hate each other because of our madhab, at that time, we could move to the point that we would say we worship Abu Hanifa instead of Allah, which is very dangerous point. And that's the direction. Respect the madhab, follow the madhab, but at the same time, understand that the madhab is only one opinion in many opinions in your religion, and that's not the whole religion. I hope that you got the point, inshallah. Yes. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
On behalf of all of his ummah.
Yes.
And you will see that everybody goes with them. So how do we go with this?
Allah, I was expecting that your question will be, you know, tricky question. Yes, yes. So Dr. Yusuf says, so if Rasulullah SAW at the end of the day, you know, at the end of the story, he will intercede. So why we are doing that, all these kinds of worship, and we get tired. Okay, we do this. Listen, imagine, Wallahi, I like that. I like this point. One of the scholars in Egypt had raised this point. He mentioned that point. He said, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not ask me to worship him, I would worship him because I love him. If it wasn't fard, I would do it on my own, even if it wasn't obligation. And if he told me, if one of the angels right now called me from the heavens and he called me by name and he told me, you know what, everything haram, now it's permissible for you, go and do it. He said, I will never do it. Because of what? Allah did not, you know, prohibit anything haram except it has benefit for you. When you avoid it, it has benefit for you. When you avoid drinking wine, when you avoid eating pork, when you avoid fornication, when you avoid stealing, when you avoid that, this is the thing. Even if the haram turn it to be halal, I would never make it. Because it's against the human nature. It's against the human nature. So we are doing this not only to enter Jannah, but we love because we love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you have another second question, you will pay $10, okay? Because I know all your questions. Okay? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. He didn't bring money with him. Do you have money? Nothing. Do you need money? Okay, inshallah, next year. Inshallah, if I have. Okay. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan for sharing the time. I wish if any of these sisters have any question, we are ready to answer, inshallah. Any of the brothers on Zoom, inshallah, we can answer your question. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless each and every one. Allahumma ameen. Do we have any question? That's the silence that I like. Alhamdulillah. That means we finished our lecture. Okay. No. If you ask another question, pay $10. Okay. Inshallah.
Money should be double.
For him.
One course is $10.
Yes, especially for Dr. Yusuf. Yes, inshallah, you are invited. Of course, the people in the masjid for tea and cake. Our brother Abdul Basit, sister Samana had brought everything. MashaAllah, may Allah bless them. Allahumma ameen. Jazakumullah khairan. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.